All right, everybody, and welcome back to the Realtor Review. Today, we got some really exciting things going on. I'd like to introduce Brent Osland here, who's a mortgage broker. We're excited to have him on. And today, we're going to talk a little bit about mortgages and some of the things that might be interesting to you. So before we get started, Brent, welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Jake. I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you.
Yeah, Brent, why don't you just give us a quick introduction of you, how long you've been working with mortgages, kind of maybe what got you into it, any of those kind of things?
Sure. So, Jake, my company is called Fulcrum Mortgage. Used to really be into physics, and that's where the name came from. But I've been doing mortgages now since 1989, believe it or not. So over 30 years. I've had several different companies. We've been very blessed. Sold a couple of them, but have found what I really enjoy doing now is what I'm doing currently, which is brokering, working directly with clients. Not so much handing people off anymore. It's very hands-on. I get the one-to-one relationship, and I've got an amazing array of investors to work with that helps me stay super competitive, if not at the top of the market, and also to best serve my clients.
That's awesome, Brent. You've got such a wealth of experience there. You've done this for so long. I think one of the things I was really hoping to talk to you about is this financing world. There's so many mortgage brokers out there, but if you had any advice for realtors on ways to identify a good broker to be working with, or any ways to help prep their customers, make sure the process is as seamless as possible, what kind of things would you tell them?
Absolutely. So, especially in this market, probably the biggest thing, and most of your agents probably already know this, but communication is everything. Okay. And I would even take that a step further in that, we all have to work weekends and evenings now, because, that's when people are usually making offers, especially on the weekends. So I tell you, it's so important to have somebody that's going to be there when you need them. Right. And to the agents that I work with, I hope anyway that I add value by, if it's a 9 o'clock on a Saturday night and I happen to be in an event or something else, I can step out and call that listing agent and tell them how well qualified our buyers are and why they'd make great buyers for their property, for their listing, and for their sellers. Right. And so communication is key, along with obviously, having that. I would tell you that it's our industry is so relationship driven. Unfortunately, many people look at it as very transactional, and so I think it's key to find good partners that have similar beliefs, like and that this is a relationship, and that we need to be there and to be available, as well as treat our customers with that amazing experience that the agents are going to give them, as well as a lender.
Well, absolutely. Well, Brett, I know I can speak to that a little bit because there were some years ago where you helped me get a mortgage in place, and so I can definitely speak to the fact that you definitely work on that relationship, and I think that's so important too. So I think that's a great point. What might you say would be something that would be like a big challenge that maybe some of these buyers or realtors might be needing to overcome when looking to get into financing?
I would say obviously the market right now is extremely competitive. Okay. Statistically, and this is a national average, almost 28% of all transactions are cash now, right? Because so your buyers are up against investors, especially these big corporate investors and private investors and all this stuff. And so, it's really a key to help our clients get under contract is to come up with ways to make their offer more attractive. And there's several ways we can do that, being proactive, and in some occasions we can get appraisal waivers, if we feel, most of our clients have already been fully underwritten. So I've actually even gone to the point of waiving the financing deadline, which means that their earnest money is going hard. And, so, that is basically as good as a cash deal at that point in time. Right. But, we take that extra effort to make sure that we don't have any problems going through the process, and that all we're doing is cleaning up the loose ends, basically, during the process, and so that we can get to closing quickly and effectively.
That's amazing. That's a lot of cash offers that are coming out. That seems to be a little bit of a change. Speaking of kind of your data there, I know I follow you on LinkedIn. I think anybody who's looking for some good data insight should be following you on LinkedIn. What else on the current state of this real estate market? I mean, what else might you be able to share with us, or maybe even tell people who are asking, why is it like this?
Sure. You know what? And it's actually, Jacob, I actually at one point wanted to be a doctor. There's a lot of lucky patients out there because I'm not. But the first time I took an economics class, I got exposed to supply and demand, and that's what we have right now. Okay, in the Denver metro area, we have less than 30 days of inventory, and so I mean, a seller's market is considered 0 to 90 days or 3 months of inventory. A balanced market is considered 3 months to 6 months, and a buyer's market is considered over 6 months of marketing. Okay, so we are so far away from that. That's what you've got so much demand and very few properties available. Okay, now one of the other things too that I think that it's really important to address right now, and I'm happy to share some data that I have as well. With anybody who would like it. But so I've had a number of buyers that are worried about getting into the market right now because of the fast appreciation, but they're also hearing talk from the pundits about a recession. And so is this a good time to invest in real estate, right? So, and to that end, first of all, it's real estate is one of the best inflation hedges you can do. Okay. So real estate is extremely safe, and I'd like to actually take that a step further. And through some research, I found that in the last 9 recessions that we've had, so this goes all the way back to 1960, all but one, the real estate during the recession time was either flat. That was the worst case scenario, that the prices didn't appreciate, or appreciated, or greatly appreciated. Okay, during that recession time. The exception to that was the housing bubble of 2007, 8, 9, 10. So what's interesting about that one, though, if you look at the graph, the bubble happened first, and then the recession happened. So the recession didn't cause a housing bubble. The housing bubble caused a recession. That make sense?
That makes sense. Interesting.
Even that one occasion, then it was an outlier basically. Okay. So it is still safe to buy, and with especially with the pace that real estate rents are going up, real estate is still a sound investment. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but if nothing else, they should at least consider getting into it, because I think back of all the clients I've helped over the last few years, and the amount of equity and wealth that they have now because of that is remarkable.
Absolutely. Well, that's fascinating. Along that line, I mean, is there any predictions that you have for the real estate market moving forward, or maybe anything in particular you think realtors or people looking to get in might want to keep in mind? I mean, it sounds like it's a good investment. We want to continue to consider it if we think it's something good for us. But what do you think the future might hold for us? I mean, it's hard to say, but
yeah,
what do you think?
My opinion, and I will say is that the market is going to stay strong this year. And once again, this is just purely based on supply and demand. Okay. And truth be told, I've had several buyers that had to get out of the market because, first of all, they're tired of losing out. But rates have moved up quite a bit in a very short period of time. And the one thing that mortgage rates are based off of bonds. Okay. So the bond markets hate inflation. And I saw this morning, but we had record numbers that came out this morning on the producer price index and core inflation. And, which is funny, that word core inflation, it doesn't have the cost of fuel and food in it, which are, for most people, two of the most important things, right, that they're worried about right now because of the high cost. But so the inflation numbers are bad. So rates could continue to go up. And I wouldn't be surprised at all. However, once we get inflation under control. And keep in mind, this is one thing that even the pundits haven't been talking about much right now, is that inflation is measured year over year. Okay, so this time last year we had very, very low inflation. And, as the year went on, it was increasing. So even if the prices stay the same, we may not feel any better in our budget, but then inflation rate will start coming down naturally as long as it doesn't keep outpacing the inflation rates of last year. Okay. So that may help ease rates a little bit. And then eventually, because I do believe that we are either close to, or it's even feasible that we might already be in a recession. All of the indicators are low unemployment, all this other good stuff. So it sounds like everything's going well, but I can tell you that most of the people I talk to don't feel well. And, that sentiment obviously holds a lot of weight. And so anyway, there could be an opportunity, if the prices do stay flat during that recession time, it would be a good time to buy, even though we don't expect them to dip, but it might get a little bit of price pressure break. And then eventually too, they will have to start bringing rates down. So even if you're looking now to buy and worried about at the end of this year, prices being 10% higher, there might be an opportunity to get in now. And then when the rates hopefully do come back down, that we could get you into a lower rate and make it even more affordable. And, without having to pay that price increase, later this year or by this time next year.
Oh, that's great info. Brent, let's make sure we cover this, because you're such an excellent resource in this world, and making sure that realtors have your information. So if realtors wanted to follow you, connect with you, get in touch with you, what are the best ways that they could do that?
Sure. Well, first of all, my company website is www.fulcrum, FULCRUM-mortgage.com. And my cell number is 303-956-5993. That's the best way to reach me. And my email is brent@fulcrum-mortgage.com. So, but you can follow me on LinkedIn. That's primarily where I do all my posting. You'll see new information every Tuesday. So if you just wanted to check that day out, know that that's when the new stuff will come out. And I'm going to try to put some more stuff in there. It's got lots of good information. It's going to be, I'm going to geek out on you for a second, but in hindsight, down the road, this is going to be a really unique time to look at. Okay. Because my personal opinion is, once again, this is my opinion, that the Fed is about a year behind on raising interest rates. And because of that, we could see another era of stagflation, which, not to bore everybody, but stagflation means that we have inflation, but the economy is stagnant. In other words, it's not growing. And even worse is deflation, which is where we're in a recession and the economy is declining, so the economy is shrinking, but yet we still have inflation. So those things we haven't experienced since the 70s. So it'll be really interesting to see. So information is power, and that's why whatever I can help to help people make decisions, I try to do.
Absolutely. Well, Brent, thank you very much for coming on. This has been phenomenal. You're such a great resource on here, and we really appreciate your time.
Jake, I appreciate it. Thanks, and have a great day.
All right, you too. Thanks everybody for watching the Realtor Review. So if you want to keep up with these updates, please hit that subscribe button to get all of our updates that we send out. And we look forward to getting you more information to keep you in the know.